Welcome to Entrepreneur Life with me, Joel Campbell, and I am an entrepreneur. Paul is going to hate this video because it's super close up. I'm sat waiting for my daughter. It's 5 o'clock, it's 5 to 9, Friday evening, and I'm sat outside the gym club basically waiting for her to finish. So I've got my phone balanced up on the steering wheel. I can zoom in and out from my watch, which is quite cool, so you can see it from here. What Paul's not going to like is the fact that A, it's completely portrait. He likes the adjustment between portrait and landscape, but also it's quite close. So therefore the editing for Paul is going to be super simple, and he doesn't like that because Paul likes a challenge, because Paul's a creative and he's technical and he's great and he likes to have that kind of challenge, and he'll just get bored. So I might just talk at him for a few minutes and just see how he responds in the next email, which will probably say, "Hey Joel, that last episode, fuck you." So like, I'm just drinking a mochaccino as well. Right, what a week. I say that quite a lot, and interesting, I'll come back to this format. I thought this episode I would do this format. The last episode you'd have seen would have been skiing. A couple of episodes about me driving to France and experiencing the new car, which by the way I'm absolutely loving. Then you'd have seen the skiing video, which would be quite cool. It's just skiing, it's not really entrepreneurial, it's just skiing. And then yeah, back to this format for one episode, and we'll go from there. So the week began on Monday. I had a good start to the week, in the sense where I was really refreshed. I felt really good after a week off. I had a proper week off, which meant that for the first time in like 8 years, I think, I actually didn't do any work. I didn't do any emails or anything along those lines. I just switched off, and it really helped the fact that I was up a mountain, because it meant that I couldn't, just trying to, phone cannot be deactivated on auto. It really helped because I didn't have any signal, so that was really quite useful. So it's super hot. I'm trying to turn the fan down, but it won't let me because it's on automatic. So I'll just do that. I'll turn the heated seat up. Cool. But it was really nice to be able to just down work for a week. I forgot what that's like, because I just haven't done that in so long. So I really enjoyed that, which meant I came back on Monday refreshed, kind of, I wouldn't say any more excited or pumped than normal. What it did do is it gave me allowed me to have a slightly different look at things, and I want to elevate the level that we're performing at. So that's something I want to be working on. And really, I just want to be CEO now, and that's kind of what I'm trying to be, is a CEO rather than still doing the do. And I'll give you an example of how I got dragged into it today, because this is the reality of entrepreneur life as I'm finding it at the moment. So this week I've been working on a couple of things. I've been working obviously in marketing, been working on my day-to-day job in marketing, but also my day-to-day job as CEO, and a few other bits and pieces. I'm also looking at the moment at buying a company. So I'm looking at the acquisition of a business. I'm looking at the acquisition of a new building. I'm in discussions around trying to buy back a leasehold that somebody bought off a previous owner of a building we just bought. I'm looking at another couple of businesses that we may or may not buy. I've got an investment which I may or may not increase. So I'm trying to look at all these things and trying to figure out where to go with it. Plus where we are financially as a business, where we're going, what the prisons look like. Are we going to buy Shepton? Are we not going to buy Shepton? What does that look like? I've got another attraction I'm going to put in a tender for. So there's kind of a lot going on like that, which is good. And then I get pulled into some of the marketing stuff, which I'm still looking to exit, and we're going through a journey at the moment of, looking at who's the right person, who's the right fit for the marketing position. One of the things I'm obviously looking at doing, as I just said, is about buying a marketing and media agency and marketing companies. So that will naturally swallow up some of that kind of work as well. And we're just looking at how I'm going to scale and grow and turn Cove Group into a global brand. So that's kind of where I want to be spending my time. What happened this week though, and today, was I did get pulled into a little bit day to day, and today was really bad because the systems and processes are not in place for ordering for the restaurant at the prison at Shrewsbury. It's just not quite there. It's fine if the staff are in, the right staff are in, because they can go ahead and do the process. But if they're not in, the process isn't there. And that came apparent today or this week because a couple of staff were on holiday, so there was no way that the team in the restaurant could do the orders. So when they finally got to me to do the orders, by the time I got to it, because I've got my own job to do, it was too late. And that meant that they couldn't get the order done and delivered on time. So someone had to go up to Booker's today and basically go up there for a couple of hours and pick everything off the shelves and effectively do the shopping, which was a nightmare, absolute nightmare. It took them ages. It was just a right faff that rather than have it delivered as normal, so just turn the heating down because it's really warm in here now. Rather than have it delivered as normal, we had to send somebody up to do it. It was just a massive waste of time, and it ended up being my wife and my business partner that went up to do it. So she wasn't best pleased because she's got stuff to do in her day to day, and it was just a massive waste of time. So I think as a business, we still haven't got it quite right ourselves. That system very, very clearly fell down today, and it meant that the CEO and one of the directors and owners then had to step in to go shopping to buy the goods for the business, which is just ridiculous because it's such a simple thing to do, to have these things set up on an account so you can just order online, have it delivered, and for some reason that's just fallen down. So although we're really, really good at what we do, we still have a number of issues, and that was one of those issues, and I was really pissed off by that today, and I'm trying to figure out how we get beyond that and what I need to do or what I need to not do to get the staff to a point where they're like, right, we've got to put this system in place, because the system's not even in place, and that's part of the problem. I'm going to try and take my jumper off and hopefully not knock off my phone, not knock off my AirPods. There we go. So I think that's kind of just an example of where, by and large, I'm trying to stay at the high level, but I do still very much get pulled into some of the day-to-day stuff, which nobody wants me to pull into. People were apologising. Oh God, look how tight that is. Sorry, Paul. The team don't want me involved in that kind of stuff, but I had to get involved in it because otherwise we wouldn't have had any food or alcohol for this evening's event. I think on the positive notes though, it's been quite busy this week, which is good, and things are moving forwards. I also met with Kieran this week, who's going to be starting 4th of May, which will be around the sort of time potentially this video goes out. And he's going to be following me around with the camera, and he's going to be able to catch the here and the nows and what's actually happening and the day-to-day, because there's been some really, I would say, some exciting things this week, some really stressful things. There's been a few moments of like high fives and celebrations in the office, and there's been a few moments of what the fuck in the office and kind of everything in between. So I'm excited about him starting because you'll get to see that kind of stuff. And we've got that all set up, ready to go. We've got a few new staff that have started this week. We've got a load of interviews happening this week. So I think we're now back to the point of, right, we've got a solid foundation of staff. Everyone's working really, really hard. Now we can start to scale again. So that's where we're going, really. And my job specifically now is to scale the organisation outwards and across and upwards and such like that, through investment, through acquisition, through purchases out of administration and solvency, through natural organic growth and everything in between. And that's really what this journey is going to be about. I'm expecting my book to be delivered on Monday as the sort of pre-final version, which really it needs one more read from myself to say, yep, I'm happy with it, I'm all good, I'm happy, or can you change this, can you change that, and then once that's done, it's got to go through one final proof and it's done. So that's good. Life Behind Bars season 1, which we filmed 6 months ago, nearly 5 months ago, is out for release when Kieran starts. It's one of the first things he'll be doing, and then we're already planning season 2, so that's exciting. There's money in the bank, which is always good. Like, really pleased with that, because I have some stressful moments about, are we going to be able to pay the bills? How's this going to be paid? How's that going to be paid? We've got 80 grand's worth of corporation tax to be paid. We've got VAT bills. We've obviously just purchased a new building. We've just done a 37% increase globally, I'll say, but 37% increase across all of our companies in terms of a wage increase. So the total salary increase has been 37%. I think everybody has had at least a 9.5% increase in their salaries, with majority of people exceeding well beyond 10% increase. So that's really good. And actually, I was looking at the levels of pay today, and it is really pretty good now. I think, you know, I've spoken a lot about how we've notoriously underpaid our staff, not necessarily from the industry, but just in terms of what they do and how hard they work and how good they are. We've not paid, I don't believe we've paid them enough, and we've rectified that, and now we're at a point where staff are being paid, our employees and our teams and our people are being paid a really solid salary. Nearly everybody's on 4-day weeks, nearly everybody's on 32 hours. So yeah, so that's come together really nicely, and that's something that I've been working really, really hard for, you know, a long time to try and get right. And I feel like we're now achieving that, and we can now really start to improve on that going forwards. And everything from this point is just all beneficial from here, really, because like I say, we've got to that kind of really key point where people are getting good money for good hours, for good conditions, for good remuneration, for good jobs, and a good company where we look after people, and everything from here is just looking green and looking good. Oh, that's where I swipe my hand, my car, if I swipe my hand across here, I can turn things up. Like if I go like this. So I've got this is just the aircon units, but I change it. So I want to turn the radio up, so I can just do this. You know what he says? It's pretty cool, right? I can do that. When it's turned on, I can do this, and it'll swipe. It doesn't always work, so sometimes you look like a bit of a prat. Try and do that, and it'll change radio stations. I tend to just use the buttons here to change the radio stations. But it's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see my heads-up display. There it is. Check it out, that's pretty groovy, and I can adjust it. I quite like the ambient lighting as well. I can change out the modes. So like when it's sports mode, the whole thing glows red, and all the car lines glow red, whereas if I change it back to, just turn the radio down. If I change it back to like efficient, everything all goes super blue. This one's quite cool, digital art, and it all goes to purple. So that's quite cool, the whole interior of the car. And if I turn off the lights, it will glow a little bit different. But yeah, so that's quite cool. Anyway, that's enough about the car. I'm going to do an actual podcast, an episode on the car, which will be the shittest podcast ever, but it'll be a really good video. And actually, I've just realised that, sorry, if you're listening to this on a podcast, I've just been showing off the car. You're just seeing it. You can't actually, you're just hearing it. You can't see it. So I think in that sense, it's probably not worked very well. I don't know. Look, not everything I do is thought through. In fact, a number of things are not thought through. One thing that's interesting about an electric car, though, is your battery can't go dead. So if you think about it, in a petrol car, you need the battery to start the car, and therefore if you leave your lights on, your battery goes dead, you can't start your car. Can't do that in an electric car. It's not possible. Yes, your battery, I guess, can go dead, i.e. you can run it down to zero, but you can't have a flat battery to not be able to start your car because you left your lights on. It's just not possible. So that's quite cool. But yeah, and that's really kind of, that's it. I just thought I'd do a quick short episode, say hello on that old format. Some things are brilliant. I've got nothing to whinge and moan about other than just bitching about myself, really. A lot of development, a lot of growth to go. It's hard, but I'm now starting to provide what I think is a little bit more tough love to people, and I'm just saying no. And I'm having to take a slight attitude change in myself in how I say this internally, because I don't like to say no to people, but at the same time I need to let people work things out for themselves rather than spoon feed it and rather than solving every problem for them, because that doesn't help the situation long term. It just solves something short term. So I'm having to kind of go, fuck it. What's the worst that can happen? And I think that's the way that I personally am going to have to let go of things, is by just going, I'm not going to do that for you, and fuck it. What's the worst that can happen? And then people will learn to do it for themselves. And they've got support from managers and stuff. They're not leaving people to just sink or swim. There is support around them from other managers and through other members of the team. They just don't need Joel on them all the time. So yeah, that's going to be the next job. Because I tell you, I think where I'm really going to come into my own and be really, really good is in the high level business strategy, business dealings, purchase, acquisition, selling, high visions, positive disruptions. I think that is a far, far better position and a far bigger sweet spot for me than being on the ground grafting. I can do the 100 hours, I can graft hard, and I can build a business to £3 million. No problems. I could have all of this collapse tomorrow, and within a year I'd have it back up to the same level because I know exactly what to do. What I'm super excited about is that unknown piece, and I'm super excited about now building from our 3 million to our 30 million, and from our 30 million to our 70 million, and from our 70 million to 100 million. And that's what I'm super excited about. So that's where I'm going next. I can see the gym club's finished, so I've got to go pick up my daughter. Thank you very much for listening. A little bit waffly, no real intent or direction on this one, just sort of cracking on. I've got to go and get her because I can see her there. This has been Entrepreneur Life with me, Joel Campbell, and I am an entrepreneur.